Hi, how is everybody doing this afternoon? I'm Kat Barber, and I'm with Michigan Associates of Acupuncture and Integrative Medicine, and it's a beautiful sunny day here in Michigan, and spring's in full force, which is perfect for the topic of this Facebook Live event. And we're going to be discussing how to manage allergies, spring allergies in particular, with some wonderful home alternatives and tips, all natural. So a lot of things that are going on right now with the outbreak of COVID-19 concurrent with spring allergies. There's a lot of disconcerting, feelings about, wow, my nose is running. I'm feeling a sniffle. I've got a dry throat, itchy, scratchy throat. Could this be the virus? Am I getting a cold? Am I getting the flu? And, the very basic differences between the COVID-19 virus and spring allergies, even though there can be sometimes a feeling of, or symptoms of overlap, are that, allergies are postnasal drip, possible headache, congestion, itchy, watery eyes, runny nose, and sneezing, whereas COVID-19 in the upper respiratory is manifesting as fever, cough, and shortness of breath. In addition to that, there's other symptoms such as loss of taste and sense of smell, as well as some GI symptoms. But we're going to just talk about the upper respiratory differences. And so even though it can be a time that's stressful thinking, have I picked up the virus? If you are prone to colds and flu, or even have seasonal allergies, and you know that this is a particularly difficult time, it's okay. You probably are experiencing spring allergies. There's a ton of pollen, dust, dander, mold, and everything's in bloom outside. So just keep in mind, and you can just remain calm and neutral and know that it may seem like it's something related to the virus or flu, but it's probably spring allergies. So a little bit about spring allergies and how Chinese medicine and acupuncture addresses and treats it is that we want to look at the root and branch causes, and the root cause would be the underlying internal organ system cause, and then that would be more the chronic condition underlying the cause of allergies. And then there's the branch, which is the more acute symptoms, such as the runny nose, watery eyes, as well as a little bit of dry throat and cough, postnasal drip. So acupuncture treatments look at clearing the nasal passages, supporting the immune system, and then strengthening these organ systems. But we're going to be talking about some tips like acupressure and Gua Sha, as well as some foods that can help. You want to either add or subtract from your diet that can really support your immune system and help with allergies, and a little bit about some natural herbs. So before we can dive into this, I need to differentiate between different types, or actually two types of external conditions called a wind cold and a wind heat. And wind cold in Chinese medicine affects the body. The body has an aversion to both wind and cold, and that manifests like cold symptoms. So that would be sneezing, headache, but there's a little bit more fatigue, maybe some body aches, and quite a bit different than spring allergies. Wind heat is something that goes more internal and deeper from a wind cold, and that can manifest as heat symptoms. That would be more fever, sweating, more of a cough, and just more heat in the body. So in TCM, or traditional Chinese medicine, we want to look at the healthy flow of qi and how it's manifesting in the body, the organs, and the meridians. And this helps point us towards the cause of the imbalance and what that cause is directly rooted in specific organ systems. And there are 4 different organ systems in Chinese medicine that play a huge role in allergies, and especially springtime allergies, with liver being the main organ. So the liver is associated with the spring, and it has a very specific condition called wind that's associated with it. And the liver would manifest with red, itchy, watery eyes, and the liver also governs the eyes in Chinese medicine. And so if you're experiencing these symptoms, you can pretty much bet that the liver organ is probably at the root cause. Then we have the lung, which seems like the obvious, which is the respiratory tract, nose, throat, nasal passages. And that's, postnasal drip, as well as sneezing and coughing. And you can have two concurrent organ systems that are not in balance that are affecting your spring allergies as well. The third would be the spleen, which is affects digestion and the GI tract, and this also has to do with fluid metabolism and production. So an overproduction of fluids can lead to mucus, which has that connection with the lungs. And then there's the kidneys, which are an organ system of water metabolism, as well as the adrenals that are on top of the kidneys, and they can create a lot of stress and elevated cortisol levels in the body, and that can create more, spring allergy symptoms as well. So just want to talk to you a little bit based on those four organ systems, some foods that really help as well as wreak havoc when it comes to spring allergies. So some foods that you want to avoid at this time would be processed food. Sugar is a huge culprit in creating mucus and phlegm, as well as exacerbating these spring allergies. In addition, wheat. If you have a wheat intolerance or a gluten intolerance, this can also create a lot of congestion and mucus. Bananas create a lot of phlegm in the body as well. And eating lots of cold foods. And when I'm talking cold foods, like raw vegetables, raw foods in general. You want to eat more cooked, warmed foods that help to break down in your digestion and make it easier to absorb and digest. So cold foods can also create a lot of this allergy symptoms as well, and create a lot of dampness and mucus in the body. So some foods that you would want to add would be garlic, ginger, and onion, which all have this warming, uplifting, pungent quality that can really help open up the lungs. Lots of foods that are rich in vitamin C, which would include spinach, broccoli, melon, salmon, as well as different citruses. And then a really good food for this time of year, for the liver, which is spring being the liver season and associated with these spring allergies, would be dandelion greens, eggplant, asparagus, kale, and beet greens. So kind of segueing from food into some herbs, some natural herbal supplements that we actually sell at Michigan Associates of Acupuncture, so you can contact us for more information. We have a couple of my favorite herbal supplements. This one here has been a lifesaver for me. This is Quercetin and Bromelain, which is a combination of two enzymes, and quercetin is found as a flavonoid, and it's a natural pigment in fruits and vegetables, like, for example, cherries, citruses, as well as leafy greens. And this has a wonderful anti-inflammatory effect on the nasal passages, as well as decreasing mucus production. In addition, bromelain, which is an enzyme found in pineapple, works concurrent with the quercetin and can really help support support the upper respiratory system, as well as decrease inflammation in the upper respiratory system. The caution that you want to use with bromelain is that you want to be very careful with blood thinners. Bromelain has been known to create, or increase the effects of sedatives, and you don't want to take it concurrent with antibiotics. So this is one great product. This has really helped save me this spring. And, I usually take about 3 to 4 capsules daily, and this really helps with the watery, itchy eyes, the postnasal drip, and the sneezing. Another herbal formula, but this is a Chinese herbal formula that we also sell at Michigan Associates. This is called Jade Windscreen, and this is fantastic as an immune support, as well as for allergies. And there's 3 key herbs in this that help with the lungs and the spleen and the liver, and they help to raise the qi in the lung. They promote fluid production, and they help to strengthen the protective qi, which is called wei qi, which circulates our body, and that equates to the immune system. It also helps with damp in the form of mucus, and phlegm, and actually congestion, as well as dry nasal passages. So these are my 2 favorites, and I'll be putting that up in my blog later this afternoon. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about some techniques to use. Acupressure and Gua Sha are fantastic for just on the fly in the moment. If you're having like a sneezing attack, sneezing jag, or you've got dry, itchy, watery eyes, or you're just feeling congested, acupressure is wonderful, as well as Gua Sha. So to start off with acupressure, I'm just going to target a couple of points on the face. So right here in the nasal folds, right outside of the nasal passages, or the nostrils, excuse me, there's a point here called Li20 that you just want to gently press on. I usually press on it for about 3 to 5 minutes, and you can immediately feel the effects of it opening up the maxillary passages and opening up the nasal passages. There's another set of points here at the inner corners of the eyebrows, and this is called bladder 2. This can help with headaches, frontal headaches here, as well as nasal congestion, and it helps to clear the eyes, and it just opens up all of the nasal passages. So again, you can just press on these for, gently for as long as you want. I usually do 3 to 5 minutes on each point. For headaches as well as nasal congestion, there's a point on the side here of the temples, and this is called Tai Yang. You can just gently press on that. It's right in this indentation. Also helps to open up these maxillary nasal passages and just clears the head in general. And then one of my favorite points that a lot of times it's overlooked when it's with acupressure and for spring allergies. There, it's called stomach 2. There's an indentation right underneath the eye orbit. Finger can fall into this. You gently press on this, and this helps with getting more airflow into the nasal passages. It also helps, it's a great point for the eyes. It helps clear the eyes, especially if they're dry and itchy. And it can also help with postnasal drip. So a great little tool of the trade, concurrent with the acupressure, is Gua Sha. This is one of my favorite things to do. Gua Sha is basically a scraping technique that's used with a very round-edged, tool or instrument. This is a ceramic noodle spoon. This here is a stone Gua Sha tool that has 2 little rounded bumps that are great for acupressure. So I like to take my Gua Sha tool and just scrape it across the cheekbones, right underneath, right here by Li20. You can go all the way up to Tai Yang. You can do this as many times as you want gently. It helps to stimulate blood flow to the area. It also feels great. It has a dual effect of stimulating collagen, and it really relaxes the muscles if there's any tension. I can also use it like this, kind of like acupressure on both of these points, and also scraping up across the forehead, across the top of the forehead. Let's see if I can do this without, over here on the sides. And then you can go up around the jaw too, because this helps to release. So anywhere along the face like this, you could even go up the nose all the way, and it has a really, really calming effect on the central nervous system. So, last but not least, this is one of my favorite herbal remedies. It's a natural tea that I learned in school, in clinic, and it has 3 amazing, herbs, and not all of them are common. One is more common than the other, but they're easy to get, and they're powerful and fantastic for treating allergies. So right here we have a little setup. This is chrysanthemum flower. Let's see. We've got chrysanthemum flowers here, goji berries here, and then mint. And I added the mint. So this is going to be a recipe for goji berry chrysanthemum tea. I'm adding the mint because it's a wonderful adjunct, and it has a synergistic effect with these other 2 ingredients. So this particular tea helps support lung health. It clears heat anywhere in the body, but especially upper respiratory and in the head. And it has this amazing affinity for eye health, and it helps with vision. If you have blurry vision, night vision, floaters. This is something I'm having my husband drink frequently, since he has I think, a detached retina, and he also has floaters as well, and this has really helped him. And it has a cooling effect on the body. So I'm going to talk about chrysanthemum here. This is called Hua in Chinese, and Hua helps to relieve this wind heat picture. And wind heat has a lot to do with the liver. And because chrysanthemum has an affinity for the liver, kidney, and lungs, it helps to moisten the lungs. So it helps with postnasal drip, dry throat, and it can also help with a little scratchy throat or cough associated with spring allergies. And it has, it helps support, vision as well. It can make your vision more clearer and brighter. And it's good for blurry vision and headaches. It has a wonderful pungent, sweet, and bitter quality. So bitter helps drain heat, pungent and sweet help to lift, and it has an affinity for the upper body. The goji berries here, or these are also called wolf berries. These are dehydrated, are sweet and neutral in their taste. And these also have an affinity for the liver, kidney, and lungs. And they help to moisten the lungs and work concurrently in tandem with the chrysanthemum for helping with vision and eye health. I've added mint or boha, and this has a pungent, uplifting, and cooling property that also supports lung and liver health. So this also treats wind heat. Let's see, I've got right here my little wilted mint. It has an affinity for the head, eyes, and throat. So anything that's going on from the head, eyes, and throat, especially particularly good for cold and spring allergies. It also treats itching, like itching skin or itchy, watery eyes that has everything to do with wind heat and spring allergies. And it's a wonderful liver tonic and helps to detoxify. So I like to make this into a sun tea, and I put it out in the sun and let it sit for like 5 to 7 hours. This is a container I use, which is about 96 ounces. So basically, if you were going to make a large container of this and make sun tea, and it's wonderful, you could just steep about 1.5 to 2 cups of chrysanthemum flowers, which are dried, and those will rehydrate. About 3/4 of a cup of goji berries, and then you would add the mint at the end after you take it out of the sun, after it's been steeping in the sun for hours. That can also be stored in the refrigerator. It's wonderful chilled. It's great at room temperature. And it's wonderful as a hot tea, which I'm going to show you next. So this recipe would call for a teapot, which I don't have accessible right now. So I've got a little glass teacup with a couple of goji berries and a couple of dried chrysanthemum. And if you were going to do a teapot, you'd want to do about 20 dried chrysanthemum flowers and about 15 of the dehydrated goji berries. And you just want to add boiling water. This has actually already been boiled, but it's hot. Let's move this out of the way. Let this steep for about 10 to 15 minutes. Look at how pretty the color is. And since it rehydrates the goji berries, you can actually, after you steep it for 10 to 15 minutes, strain out the chrysanthemum flowers, discard those. I like to eat the goji berries. They're sweet and have like a slight raspberry taste to them, and they're fantastic in the tea. And that way you can just keep this, you can refrigerate it, and then bring it to, leave it out after taking out of the refrigerator at room temperature and reheat it. And you've got this wonderful, liver and lung tonic tea that tastes fantastic, that's great served chilled or room temperature or hot, and it helps support the lungs and liver, and it really helps to address all of these symptoms of watery, itchy eyes, runny nose, congestion, coughing, scratchy throat, and postnasal drip. So I hope that you enjoy this tea. It's pretty easy to find goji berries as well as mint and chrysanthemum flowers. I will put that information up on my blog after the Facebook Live event. And let's see if there's any questions I can answer. Okay. So no questions. If you do have any questions, please hit me up. You can contact us at Acupuncture in Michigan, our Facebook page, or on our website. And we are now going to be seeing patients tentatively May 18th, according to CDC guidelines and state guidelines at this point. We've got all that information on Facebook as well as our website, so please do go there and check us out. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon.